I had a conversation with my good friend Steve Tucker about this place, Chard Reservoir. Steve's been fishing here for a number of years now and doing exceptionally well. The reputation of this place speaks for itself, so the invitation is one I couldn't miss. I'm going to give Steve a bit of a lesson at his own game, hopefully. He's going to fish an open-end feeder, traditional bream tactics, ground baits, worms, a few pellets possibly. Me, I'm a little bit different to that. I've come down to give him the lesson in the new school. I'm going to fish a method. I'm absolutely convinced I can beat him on it. Let's get it on. Now the ground bait that both myself and Steve have chosen to use is the Omen. It's become a phenomenon in bream fishing throughout the last year and a half. A lot of very, very good anglers throughout the country are recording some huge catches with it. And we put that down to some of the new flavours and new ingredients. It's not a sweet mix, but it's certainly not a fish meal mix. Very different to your normal ground bait. We've got 2 kilo bag here, that's more than enough for a session. Now we know from fishing our commercial waters that bream absolutely love pellets. Don't tell Steve this because he doesn't know yet. I brought myself a bag of 2mm Special G green pellets. So the other thing I brought with me as a feed bait are the 2mm premium pellets. Super high quality. I've brought some 4mm and 6mm with me for change hook baits, and also if we do get the fish lined up, I can really start introducing a lot. Pop them in a box, cover them with water for 1 minute, drain them off and leave them. 10 minutes later, you have a perfect spongy pellet that you can wrap around a method feeder on its own, or mix it again with the Omen to put around your method. Now as I'm fishing a method feeder, hook baits become super important. Bream love meat, they love sweet corn, and they especially love these things. Lots of boilies get fed in waters all over the country these days with carp anglers, and bream are now eating them in their droves. I will never ever go anywhere without a tin of enticed meat. This stuff is absolutely brilliant and has caught me fish everywhere I go. We've got the new Bait Tech sweet corn, handy pack tins, and lastly, but certainly by no means least, I've got a tub of mixed halibut marine pellets. Now these are always handy to have in your bag. Before we get our gear out, I'm going to mix some ground bait. Don't put too much water in. To get the perfect mix, it's little and often basis. We get our hands in, give it a good mix. Instantly, as soon as that water starts reacting with the ground bait, you can smell the garlic and herbs and all the rest of the aromas that are absolutely permeating through the air now. We've gone from a dry consistency to one I can squeeze into a ball with ease. But the way to test to make sure you've got the right consistency, put it between your palms and give it a rub, and it should break down perfectly into the crumb-like state that you've got in your bucket. Let's go and have a look at Steve's setup.
This Omen ground bait, I've used it now for about 2.5 years. I won the league here last year using it, and I'm winning the league this year using it. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm fishing it through an open end feeder, just gauge how the fish want it on the day. Sometimes they'd rather have a bit more pellet and a bit more corn.
I'm basing my approach around method feeder with boilies, pellets, etc. But you're using it with worms and casters, so it's a really versatile mix that you can use in any which way you want.
Yeah, I've also used it for method fishing and everything. I've absolutely caught shed loads of skimmers on it. It's, it's my favourite skimmer ground bait by a country mile.
We've got some chop worm there. Oh, I see. You've sneaked a few pellets on your table as well. No.
Well, I couldn't let you have all the glory,
yeah,
so
that
I thought
sounds
I'd
about
put
right.
a few. That's the 2mm bream love 'em.
We just softened a few of those up.
Yeah. Sometimes the bream prefer pellets, and they do natural bait, so obviously I always carry a few on my tray just in case as well.
That old chestnut.
Got some floating maggots.
That is traditional, isn't it?
That's
as traditional as it comes.
Yeah. We've got some casters. We've got some white squats.
Oh.
Dendrous. Proper red worms.
As typical as a side tray for bream fishing as I think you're ever going to see, really. Let's have a little look at your rigs, because obviously my rigs are completely different.
First of all, we got your main lines coming down through your rods. 3 pound Drennan Suplex line.
Right, okay.
And I've got a shock leader of 018 on it.
Right, okay. So just to give you the comfort for when you're banging that feeder out.
It also gives me thin line diameter.
So bite registration
is better, and it doesn't pick the toe up.
What have you got there,
It's
mate?
a Garbolino Super G 12-foot feeder. It's absolutely fantastic, as you can see. The top sections of it is very soft, which is obviously what you need for bream and skimmer fishing, but also the power in the middle gives me great casting ability, and obviously the bully fish if I need to, if they're in snags and stuff like that.
Yeah. We've got quite a long paternoster there with a conventional open end feeder. Why do you use such a long paternoster?
What I always do is double up the last bit of line about 6 inches and tie a loop, so you're left with 6 inches of line.
Yeah.
And then I attach the feeder so it sits on the bottom of that 6-inch line,
right.
which obviously gives me an extra little bit of forgiveness here with the double the line.
Yeah.
And also makes it very stiff, so it keeps it away from the hook length.
Right, okay, so you're actually in effect trying to kick your hook length away from it, keep it straight.
I find this way the best way of doing it. Then also all I do then is I got my hook length with a loop on.
Yeah.
I feed the line through the loop, feed it over the feeder.
Okay.
So it goes up to the main line.
So you've got a loop closing on itself, basically, right?
And I thread it up the main line. And then, as you can see, the actual loop just sits on that knot.
Ah, yeah, I can just slide it down and it butts up against that knot.
Butts a knot, and I found that being the best way. I've used it for probably 10 years, and I haven't found a better way of fishing.
I see you've got another rod set up.
Exactly the same as this one, so still another Garbolino 12 foot.
Yeah.
But on this one, I always have a separate hook length done up for this, for hair rig, like double corn. Also, I can use the halibut pellets, which is pre-drilled as well.
You're just about to start fishing. How much bait do you put in?
It depends on the venue, really, and obviously, you cannot say. Sometimes I like to put in quite a few feederfuls, probably 10 or 12 big feederfuls.
And by that you mean the...
Yeah, I always use these to start with, to put in all the food out to start. These are the Garbolino long distance feeders. They castrate, and you can get through quite a few bit of bait using that.
You can go to Bream venues and some days they want an absolute load of bait.
A bit of omen.
Yeah. So what have you done there? You've just plugged the bottom end.
Just plugged the bottom end.
Okay.
Then obviously a bit of worm.
Okay.
A few casters.
Pinch of casters.
Then
more omen on the end.
More omen on the end. Packs it out, and there you are, ready to go. I've clipped up both rods and reels. I've got the same reels on. I chucked it out to 45 turns, so obviously both are exactly the same distance.
I wish you all the best, mate. I'm going to go and have a fish.
And you, mate.
Okay, so we've seen Steve's methods and his baits. Now let's have a little look at mine. I've got a 12-foot Frenzy Precision Medium feeder rod, absolutely purpose-built for days like this. It's got a beautiful soft tip running into a medium action, and then a lot of power in mid to butt sections. Absolutely ideal when you're punching feeders a long way. I'm fishing a method feeder, which is free running. I've got one number 4 shot there. That just helps pin the line to the bottom away from the feeder to stop any chance of any line bites. And then we've got a simple method feeder on there, running through to a quick change bead and a 4-inch hook length with a hair rig spike. A 4000 size reel. I've got 8-pound main line, which might sound quite heavy. The reason I'm using 8-pound is so I can really punch it if I need to. I'm fishing 50 turns. If I need to go any further, I know I can with this setup. This line also, this particular line sinks really, really quickly, which is ideal. I've got an identical setup. I've clipped it up at exactly the same distance, but just in case these fish do want to feed, I'm going to put the big boy on, which is going to enable me to get a lot of feed in very, very quickly, which I can then put my method feeder over the top. A mixed omen with the green Special G pellets through it. The fish home in and start eating these, and they'll sweep through the peg and stay there until they've hunted down every last one. Brilliant addition to any ground bait. The rest of the bag there that I've softened up, I can actually squeeze those around a method feeder should I want to. We've got premium 2mm pellets. Then quite simply, it's down to my hook baits. Steve's already fishing and I'm not wasting any more time. What a beautiful day out. We'll be all right, we'll catch a few. Well, Steve might not, but I will.
Not with that casting, you won't.
Don't lose it. Oh, you haven't lost it. Oh, mate, it's not gone in a snag. That's devastating. Oh dear, oh dear. First blood to the method, my friend.
Early days, early days.
Ho ho! Shame you lost that one earlier, mate.
Don't lose it, mate.
Oh, that's not very nice. 1-0 for the pellet.
I never like catching first, it's bad luck.
Method feeder strikes again. At this point you might notice that Steve is very quiet. We've had some nasty showers, but this low cloud and slight ripple is actually good bream fishing weather. Oh, it's a beautiful fish. Typical big dark bream. Another one for the method. Mwah. Finally hooked one, Steve. Is this the comeback?
Just a matter of time. I'm there.
Oh, we're on.
Lovely fish, look at that, Andy.
Very nice fish, mate.
The traditional baits are starting to pull back.
So you've had one lucky fish, that's all it is. You see a lot of people fishing a method these days with the rod sat across their knee. That's fine if you're busy, you're casting every couple of minutes and you're catching fish very regularly. This sort of situation where you're actually having to wait for bites, put it on a rest, off your knee, out the way. Very, very important that you let the feeder break down, let the bait develop and let the fish actually come and find the bait. Come on, Stevie, this is more like it, son.
Cool.
Oh, you watch, you don't knock that off.
Fantastic, mate, isn't it? He's in there. What a beauty. Look at that one. That's the biggest.
Look at that. You reckon to that then?
Do you reckon that, Ed?
What a day.
What a day.
It's tremendous, mate. Method feeder versus cage feeder. What an unbelievable day sport. All on Oman. I think we're going to have to call it a draw because we both had the same number of fish. But when you've got fishing like this, there's no competition, it's just great.
What a great stamp of fish this is. I hope you enjoyed it here, mate, on my venue.
Brilliant, mate. I'll certainly be back, that's for sure.
What a fantastic day.
Let's get them home, shall we?
Yeah.
Look at them.